The Truth Girls. The Truth Girls.
Hi everyone. Well, I'm here vlogging late at night again and in my coat because it's freezing cold. I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I've been finding out related to the Connecticut shooting and how this may be connected to Satanism. So first of all, here's an article. Adam Lanza said, "I am the devil," and he had a whole website about devil worshipping. Also, apparently his hairdresser said he was really weird. He wouldn't sit in the hairdresser chair or get up from it unless his mother gave the order. To me, that sounds like mind control. This article here on Conspiracy Cafe, Newton, Connecticut is like a hub of satanic activity. They have the Church of Satan right there in town, also known as the Church of Tiamat. Apparently it's like the center for their recruitment department. And apparently this has been going on for a long time, and a lot of people in the town have known about it for quite a while. Here's an article from henrymacow.com. Newton has reputation as Satanist hub. Well, according to this article, a poll was done back in 1996, and although the police denied any satanic activity, the townspeople seem to be pretty concerned with it. And there's a picture of the teacher, Victoria Soto, and see the guy behind her? He's giving like a devil horn sign. I'd like to consider some alternative explanations. Why is the guy giving the devil horn sign? Well, I asked you guys on my Facebook page, and you pointed out that this is also the sign that fans use when they're fans of the University of Texas Longhorns football team. So, I don't know, maybe the guy was he was from Texas and he was a football fan. And oddly enough, there's a picture of little Emily Parker, who was one of the victims, and she's also putting that sign up, you know? But that doesn't really mean anything, because maybe her family was into Texas Longhorns. Or maybe she was doing the American Sign Language sign for I love you. Anyhow, in that article on the Henry Macow website, he was saying that there was even a nun, a well-respected nun in the town, who said that there was satanic activity. And that's not the only time that the subject of nuns has come up in the relation to this story. Newton police, 2 occupants with ski masks, one may be wearing a nun outfit. Apparently, this is what they say, the teachers were saying that somebody came into the school dressed like nuns. And on the police radio, you also hear that they're looking for a purple van with the back window blown out with a suspect in the van and another suspect who's dressed as a nun. So another thing I wanted to bring up, though, was people are saying that the parents are faking and that they're all actors. And the proof of this is that there's a website called crisisactors.org. Crisis actors are actors that you can hire if you're doing a drill. And they had a drill like that in Montreal not long ago about a terrorist incident in a metro, and they had a bunch of people lie there and pretend to be wounded. That's what crisis actors do, that kind of thing. So people are saying that the witnesses and the families, they're crisis actors. Now, I got to tell you, this makes no sense to me at all, right? Because let's say you were going to do a false flag, and you were going to hire some actors. Well, they're going to, if you can even find somebody who's, that lacking in morals and scruples that they could be paid off to lie about something like having lost their child on national television. Well, even if you did that, you'd be taking a big risk, because those actors have family and they have friends and they have acquaintances, maybe even enemies. Anyway, they know a lot of people, and those people would know who they really are. So the odds would be that someone who knows these actors would eventually leak the fact that they just went on national TV and lied about being a victim of a disaster or an attack or whatever it is. The other possibility would be that the witnesses were lying. But, why would they lie? So the reason that people thought that some of the witnesses were lying was that they seemed really insincere. And one of them was the parents of Grace McDonald. And you could see the interview here with the mother, who's all happy and smiling during the interview. Okay, people pointed out that she doesn't look very distraught. She doesn't look like you would look if you'd just lost a child. So she doesn't look like somebody who's been grieving. And her facial expressions are strange when she's crying, and maybe no tears. That's what people said. So let's rule out, though, the possibility that they're hired crisis actors from crisisactors.org, because that doesn't really make any sense. So option A could be very sinister, that they're lying. But why would they lie? What would they be lying about? Another possibility is that, well, as you see, these are white middle-class people, probably quite educated and highly civilized. And maybe this type of person just does not express these kinds of unpleasant emotions in public because it's not proper. And this is why when you see footage of, Palestinian women or, other Middle Eastern women whose children have just been killed, they're freaking out and screaming and crying with tears streaming all down their face because they have different customs. Maybe in a polite, civilized town like Newton, Connecticut, people just don't act like that. Option C would be that, well, maybe she's had a lot of Botox. Botox could freeze your face. I'm not saying that they had Botox. I'm just saying it's a possibility. And the strange good mood that they seem to be in, the lack of grief, it's very possible that they've been given some kind of prescription to help them through the grieving process, and that they are not able to connect with their emotions properly. When you're grieving, you go to the doctor, they give you Xanax or some other thing. I'm not saying that this is what's happening. I'm not making any accusations, but you could consider the possibility that maybe they've been given something to make them feel better. And then people were saying it was, odd that of all the pictures that their daughter had drawn, they gave Obama a picture of an owl, which happens to represent the god Moloch, which they worship at Bohemian Grove, the 30-foot stone owl. And the flyer for Bohemian Grove actually shows a child being sacrificed in front of this 30-foot owl. So the god Moloch is one to which you sacrifice children. So some people said, well, that's very strange. She gives Obama, who's probably been to Bohemian Grove, gives him a picture of an owl. But, kids draw all kinds of things. And what's the chance that this little girl knew that Obama was going to Bohemian Grove worshiping stone owls and that people are sacrificing children to Moloch? I'm sure that when that girl drew the owl, she had no idea, and, neither did her parents. And then there are the parents in front of the school who are also kind of smiling a little bit, which is weird considering that a bunch of people just got killed, all children mostly. But, sometimes in stressful situations, people have a nervous laugh. Maybe they were just deep down thinking, thank God that it wasn't us. And then there's the case of Mr. Gene Rosen, the neighbor who took in the 6 kids, who mysteriously ended up at his house instead of at the firehouse. I don't know why. And this Mr. Rosen keeps changing his story, so some people are thinking that maybe he's lying. If you noticed, Mr. Rosen is kind of advanced in age, and it could be that he's starting to experience a cognitive decline, and he's having trouble with his memory. And this is why he keeps changing his story. And maybe that's why he seems like he's acting in a bad B-movie, or maybe he's just in denial, or maybe he's just a strange person and he always talks like that. See, there are other very possible explanations for the behavior of the parents and the other witnesses. I mean, who really knows what people go through in that kind of situation? However, I do think that the devil was definitely involved and that this had to do with Satanism. I mean, Adam Lanza himself had a whole website about Satan. So anyhow, well, thanks for listening to me, and let me know what you think about all this, and I'll see you next time.
The truth occurs.